In 1960, when Thomas Randall was 15 years old, he met future President John F. Kennedy during a campaign stop in Commack, New York. This was just 2 days before the election, on November 6, 1960.
Basically, there's a daytime weekend, actually Saturday, campaign stop that Kennedy was making in Commack, New York, on Long Island, and the scheduled anticipation for kept getting pushed back, down and back and back and back and back. So everybody was kind of on edge, and then finally the car came through. It was an open convertible with Kennedy sitting on the back, waving to everybody and so on. And I was there at the rally, and I got totally carried away and broke through the police barrier and ran up to Kennedy's car and touched him on the shoulder. And when I did that, it sort of brought me back to reality, and I scampered back to the safety of the crowd, and was not further arrested or beaten or anything else. But it was still a thrill, I have to say.
Kennedy came from a privileged background and was very charming. He was able to use this to his advantage in his debate against Vice President Richard Nixon.
Absolutely. I mean, that was a big deal. And the debates between Nixon and Kennedy there's an electricity to it. They're both intelligent men, and they both spoke well. There's a kind of a standard interpretation of their debate meeting on TV, which was significant of itself, because it was the first time a debate like this had been broadcast on TV, I believe. And they had to take turns talking. And the thing is that because of the visual nature of television, Kennedy was a much more handsome guy than Nixon, who always looked like he had a 5 o'clock shadow, which means a dark cheeks that hadn't been shaved, which probably wasn't true. He probably did shave, but he didn't look like he had. Whereas Kennedy was handsome and outgoing and so on. So it was significant for that because it showed the power of television.
Randall also remembers where he was on November 22nd, 1963, when Kennedy was assassinated.
I was in college. I was in ROTC. We were all dressed up for Friday afternoon well, every Friday afternoon, the troops had to be, we were the troops, had to be reviewed. They had to pass muster. And so everybody's lined up in formation. And one of the guys, one of the leaders on the campus had a walkie-talkie. I was talking to somebody else, probably inside the building. And then he came out and said, told everybody that Kennedy had been shot. I don't think anybody at that point used the word killed, but that he was shot. And there was like complete silence, and nobody could believe it. It was a total shock to everybody. And I say that by including Republicans as well. I think it was such a significant event that politics took a backseat for quite a while.